So I am now recording our session so that I can capture this video because I want to be able to save this for you later. And it is recording on Collaborate. So I want to share with you that if you were to turn your microphone on and say anything, it will be recorded for other students in our class and future classes. What I wanted to walk through is a very particular method of calculating a unit conversion. A unit conversion is what we do when you have a problem such as this. How many inches are in 7 yards? You very likely already have a process by which you can do this question pretty easily, and that's okay. But what I'm going to ask you to do for the 10 questions on this activity is I'm going to ask you to do it using this method and to show your work on a chart like this. Now, if you haven't already done so, you can find this chart on Blackboard so that if you could print it out, or you could just read it and write down your work as you go. But I will ask that you're doing both of these pieces. One, write down all the unit fractions. So we're going to use the conversion factors that are at the top. I'll ask that you write down the unit fraction and then show your work using this particular method. Even though there's more methods that you could use to do this, what I'm going to ask you to do is just to show this method on your work for these 10 problems. Going forward, when we take a quiz or do other things, you could use other methods if you wanted, but just this activity is to practice this method. So the method of using unit fractions, what it uses is the multiplicative identity, this magic number 1, and it multiplies it by whatever. And what's magic about the 1 when we multiply, the reason it's given the name multiplicative identity is because it doesn't change the identity of the 713 when I multiply it. So 1 times 713 is just 713. Yes, Lauren, this is the Blackboard activity. So the first step is going to be how many inches are in 7 yards. To go from inches to yards, I need to first understand which units conversions I'll need. Looks like I need 1 inch. Oh, not that one. Where is it? Oh, you know what? I didn't even write it on here. I guess some of them that I feel are just common knowledge or should be common knowledge I didn't add here. But we need that 3 feet is 1 yard. And then 1 foot, oops, 3 feet equals 1 yard. And then 1 foot is 12 inches. So those are the 2 facts that you need. To write those as a unit fraction, we're going to write a 1. 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So 12 inches over 1 foot is a 1, right? You could also have written 1 foot over 12 inches, and it would have also been 1. You could use either one. The second unit fraction that we'll need for this one is 1 yard is 3 feet. Because 3 feet is 1 yard, I could write the unit fraction as 1 yard over 3 feet or 3 feet over 1 yard. So that's the first step, is to write the unit fractions. Next, to show your work using unit fractions, here's the process. Even though it's typed in here, I'm going to write it also just to make it nice and big for you so that there's no question about how to write these. Here's how the process works. You start with what you're given, in this case, 7 yards, and always include the unit. Write that 7 yards over 1. Always starts over 1. Next, we're going to multiply by a unit fraction, one of these 2, or their reciprocal. That's where we flip it. With our goal being that we end up with, how many, with the goal being ending up with inches. So here's how it works. If I want to get from a yard to an inch, and I have to use both of these, I know some of you are saying, well, couldn't I just say 36 inches is a yard? Yes, that would work. But if I'm saying that I'd like you to use just the unit conversions that are here, then go ahead and practice it using both of them for this time. What we'll do next is convert the yards to feet. And to do that, I'm going to put the yards in the bottom and the feet in the top. The yards go in the denominator and the feet go in the numerator. Why did I do it that way? Because what I want to be able to do is reduce these out, divide them. So if I have a yard in the top and I want to get rid of yards, because our final answer wants to be inches, the way that I get rid of it is I put the yard in the bottom. So when I put the yard in the bottom, it's going to divide out. Now I have feet, but I want inches. How do I get inches? Well, the next thing I could use is 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. I'm going to put the foot in the bottom and the inches in the top. Why? Because I want these feet to go away so that I end with inches. In order for the feet to divide out, the feet has to go in the denominator so that I'm left with inches. And that's almost it. All I have to do now is the multiplying. So I would multiply 7 times 3 times 12. 21 times 12 is 252. You can type that in on the calculator. So therefore, 7 yards is equivalent to 252 inches. I'm going to try one more before I send you into a group to try this. I don't know if you catch what this second problem is about, a proclaimer. If anyone's a fan of the musical group, the Proclaimers, the song I Would Walk 500 Miles. Well, if someone did walk 500 miles to visit you on your birthday, which, by the way, the Proclaimers live in Scotland, so I don't think they could make it by walking. But if they did walk 500 miles, and we want to convert that to centimeters, we always start by writing the 500, what we're given to start with, over 1. We'll always start by writing it over 1. So the next thing is to look and see, well, what unit fractions do I need? Well, I'm definitely going to need a mile. If I'm trying to get a mile to a centimeter, I'm going to have to go a mile to a foot. And then I could do a foot to an inch. And then I could do an inch to a centimeter. So I'm going to start with the mile. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. And then I'm going to use 1 foot is 12 inches. And I can then use that 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So I'm going to actually write those 3 fractions down at some point. Next, we'll do our multiplying. And if I want to be able to divide out this mile, I've got to have miles down in the bottom, right? So I can put the 5,280 miles in the denominator. And the, oh, wait. That's wrong, isn't it? It's 1 mile. Good thing I wrote the unit so I could catch that. 1 mile. And then the 5,280 feet would go in the numerator. So again, why did I choose to flip this from 1 mile over 5,280 feet? Because I want to be able to divide out this mile. So the mile had to be in the bottom in the denominator. So if the 1 mile's in the denominator, the 5,280 feet is equivalent to a mile, so it can go in the numerator. Let's move on to the next unit. I see that I can go from feet to inches. So converting from a foot to an inch, it looks like the feet would need to go in the bottom so that it'll reduce with the feet. So that puts the inches up on top. And now I just have to put the right number. Foot is 1, so 1 foot, 12 inches. And now my feet and my feet will reduce out. Last one. Let's get a nice bright color. How about this bright blue? Last one, I'm going to get rid of the inches and end with centimeters. So to do that, it looks like I'm going to need the inch is 1 and the centimeter 2.54. Oh, sorry, realizing that the screen that's recording might include some of, I don't know if you can see the extra things popping up or not. If you do, I apologize. I'll look at the recording before I share it to make sure. But I did this multiplication earlier. You could just type it in on your calculator. Ooh, it's quite a lot. But it's 80,467,200 centimeters. So we'd write that answer here. And put a box around it. I'm gonna stop the video at this point, and I'll flip over to the next page so you can get a quick view here of the next page. I'm going to stop the video at this point and or stop the recording and ask if there are any questions. And